Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Brace for Impact. I am still Affinity and I am still joined by Parks Casts. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I missed you last week. I know you were
I'm
deathly
sorry,
ill.
I'm
It's fine.
proud tummy ache survivor.
But it's really funny. Like we left off with the 2 weeks. Okay, we'll be back in 2 weeks. A little bit of news, and I filled out the news part. I went, you know what? This should be fine. And then I came back the next day, and I was like, oh, everything is starting up again now.
Yes.
Like this is let's just go. So there's been a lot of news coming through. There's also been a lot of tournaments that have happened kind of in the
You
between.
have.
So we might as well get started there. We're gonna skip off the cash cups. We can briefly
Mhm.
mention. Let's briefly. You know what? I'll briefly mention the winners just because that much is important. The bottom up to where we are. So, in North America, Lotus won there first. Cash cup in a while. Last time they won was as the Sirens back in November of 2023. So it's been quite a little bit for them. Of course, they placed second a few times behind either
Mm.
Shimmer, uh, behind Shimmer. Um, so yeah, Shimmer didn't play. That gave Lotus W. Coming through in South America. I'm just up as I'm going here because I'm totally just hot miking this. Extavina one,
Mm.
which was Cami, China, Arkham, Uliana, and Brandina. Um, Rolling down even faster, ATK beat White Robin and Morales in South Africa. All right, and then in Oceania, we had Yarp going up against Drain Gang, and Drain Gang came out on top. So that's Phoebe, Sarah, Evelyn, Hazel, and Neil winning that one out.
It
And
was
then
nice to see
there,
her playing in her own region for a bit, actually, Phoebe. It was nice
yeah,
to see
yeah.
her,
You know what? It's kind
go
of
back to
funny
her roots.
because like I think of her more as a North American player at this point than like
Same, same.
an EU player. And I've had this conversation with her before. It's like she went from like KZG Gaming to like Shimmer. Like it was just here we go. Um, Actually, you know
A little
what? There
bit of
was another.
away from home.
Yeah, and then speaking of away from home, the Asia Cash Cup actually happened. It was there was three teams,
Okay.
and Invincible team came out on top. So that's Ratch, Rainy, Rico, 1001, and Anko. Notably, the team they faced off to win that was actually a team from Mongolia. So that's pretty
Okay.
that's pretty neat. And then we missed the EU. I scrolled past them accidentally, and then I kind of kept going. 18
And if
teams.
you missed it, was it even really important in the first place?
Well, I mean, it's important for Dreamcatchers. That's Elizabeth
True.
Fatal. Uh, I don't know how to say that. There's too many numbers in that name.
Spell out, spell out.
K175UN4. Kitsun,
Kristen?
Kitsuna. I can see Kitsuna. And Ween and Sosia, they won over Yayo. How many notable teams actually on this? I think that's probably because everybody's kind of chilling out.
Mm.
And then that's all the cash cups. So yeah, it was just really quick. Um, just a
Quick little overview, yeah.
few. And I mean, there's so many other tournaments that are happening around the time. So Femme Fury, I have like no idea what this is, but I got linked it.
I I do. I'm gonna keep my opinions of it out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've got some opinions about aspects of this tournament.
Okay.
But it was nice to see a lot of, faces that you'll be familiar with from ESL Impact on some of these teams. Um, Permitters, female team entered, K10 Ashes, which we talked about last episode as well,
Yeah.
one of their debut games. And I don't think they did quite as well as they would like to. They had not a great showing, but um, yeah, interesting one. It won by a team of players that I don't actually recognize any of the names from, but Russian core,
Yep.
Team Censored, I believe it is.
Yeah. So Mio, Ayaka, Margot, Amour, and Ayakanora, I think is how you say that.
Mm.
They ended up getting to the finals and they beat out Team France, who are spending some
Which
time
is a
together.
star-studded roster,
That is
actually.
that is quite a roster, and it's weird to think about that. By the way, just because of where the offseason is, like Kaude is on this team, uh, Monkey to Julie is on this team, Astra is on this team, Emerald,
Rachel,
Rachel.
yeah.
Like we have a bunch of players that we were just at the ESL Impact Finals in Dallas together in various forms. Like Kaude was there with FlyQuest, and I believe it was Astra, right? It was Astra and Rachel that were together on Let Her Cook. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a really nice roster that comes together. They're playing mostly for IESF stuff, but then they kind of got put into this tournament as well, which is like, hey, why not? Come second place.
I'm quite curious though.
Yeah.
Because if they and that's a team that I think looking at the rosters and stuff, whilst Permitter maybe would have been quite interesting to see them do quite well because this is a team that's played together for a while and is signed together, right? Whereas Team France is a little bit of a mixed bag of players. The fact that just a load of players that we don't really know of at all beat them out. I'll be interested to see whether Team Censored's entering the EU qualifiers for Impact. That's like a couple of weeks away, isn't it? It's mid August.
It comes up fast. Yeah,
it creeps up on you.
It's gonna be up there quick. I could see that. I mean, the qualifiers always have a lot of teams in EU because of how limited the spacing is, and because of how many like orgs are like, hey, if we pick up a team now, they have time to get together, figure it out, and then we make impact, and something happens. But yeah, Censored will be an interesting one to see. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I looked at Team Crescent. Team Censored is Anotka, Coldheart, Icy Tears, Matori, and Gitsune. So they actually have a Lithuanian on the team. 4 Russians and a Lithuanian.
Do.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. But
One of these is not like the others.
So Femme Fury was an interesting tournament, I guess. Just kind of keep an eye on. I always like that there are more TOs entering the space, even if they're just small tournaments. I mean, like Censored won $3,000. Team France won 1K. And then there was two $500 prizes as well. So it was a 5K event for sure. But I mean, that's pretty cool to see. I believe all the teams were invited. Yeah, so everything's kind of getting figured out. It's all kind of getting towards the end. Right. Let's see what else is on the docket. Liga Feminina, first edition of this year. It took a long time to get to this point, which is, one thing. I think matches are still being played as well. I know Group 1 is done. I actually had the link to the... Shout out Benny on this. He's still from beyond the grave giving us notes. Group 1 is done, and I think a few of the other groups are kind of on their way as well. I don't know why it's taking so long, or maybe they just haven't updated the thing on the page, on the Gamers Club page, but...
Should I see if they've got a Liquipedia that they've updated quickly?
Yeah, I had a conversation with Benny about that. Generally, he says the Liquipedia pages come a little bit later on for these, so they'll have the page up, but they won't actually have anything filled. They kind of wait until all the results come through, especially for Gamers Club stuff.
Shame.
It is. I can tell you for sure though, Fluxo Demons have won out their group. They went 3-0. Kind of makes sense.
No surprises.
Yeah, no surprises. They're not in a group with anybody, I would say, notable, I guess, that we would know from Impact. Furia has played 1 match so far, and they don't have stats up for it, but they're currently sitting
not top of their group.
Yeah, they're currently second in their group, which is interesting, but we'll see. And then
MIBR top in their group as well.
MIBR are top of their group. Yeah, it's a group of 5. And
interesting one to see as well, Atrix, which you may be familiar with from ESL Impact season just gone as well. I don't think they've played yet, actually.
Yeah, I was just about to say they're currently sitting 4th of 5 in their group, in Group 3, but they haven't played a game yet. And I wonder if that's I'm guessing it's because everybody's on vacation. Because this is like the vacation time, so I'm guessing with the season starting up, because the ESEA Season 50 has started, like yesterday was the first official day, so today is the first game day. So I'm guessing with that being as it is, all the teams are going to be competing in that, and then as a result of everything competitively kind of starting up again, vacations will finish off, players are going to come back, and the rest of the groups will actually get finished off proper, I think. So
yeah, probably.
There's no bracket yet to see. Yeah, there's no bracket yet to be shown for any playoff work. So, we'll keep you updated on that one. It's taking its time, but that is how that kind of stuff usually works.
All good things in good time, or is it all good things in time, whatever the phrase is? I'm not good at my idioms.
Next up, IESF EU.
Yeah, controversial one.
Yeah,
We won't get into why it's controversial, but controversial one. But it's really nice because I like this. We get to see a lot of people with familiar faces competing. Um, there's a couple of teams that I want to point out because we have started our bracket stage now,
yep.
and the teams that we've seen gone through were um who is it? France, Serbia, Spain, Portugal, Sweden, Romania, Poland,
Czechia, yeah.
Czechia, sorry, Germany,
Yep.
Norway,
Yep.
Slovakia. Oh God, there's so many.
Slovakia.
Slovakia, Austria, Belarus, Turkey, Denmark, Belgium.
Correct.
And a couple of these teams are already out. Unfortunately, we've already bid farewell to Germany, Austria, Belarus, and Belgium.
Yep.
I'm trying to have a think if there's anybody on there that I think we're going to have particularly missed. Belgium, we've lost Kitty Cat. That's again a player that I think has been in the public eye a little bit. But other than that, nothing I'd say too.
Moraltis, I guess, on Belgium as well. She's
Moraltis,
gone.
true, yeah.
Germany actually. Lolita from Germany. She's a fan of the long term fan of the podcast. I say that jokingly. Benny sends her clips occasionally
Aw.
where we mention her. It's a little bit of an inside joke, but also just kind of funny for us because we do enjoy talking to people. It's not like we're doing this for our own enjoyment.
Horrible people, yeah.
Yeah, we're horrible people.
But there are some really interesting teams in this as well, and it's a stacked kind of competition here. You look at Team Poland; it's just the whole of Navi Javelin, which is a terrifying prospect to go up against. But Team France, we talked about them, of course, playing in other tournaments. You said they've been spending a lot of time together. Seem to be finding good results with that as well. It's nice to see some familiar faces there as well. Anna playing for Team Romania. You've got Giuliano and Zaz on Sweden.
Yeah, and they've got
Yeah.
they've got an Ensathina player, they've got an ex Guild player on there as well, an Emsan and Nia. So like, it's starting to filter through a little bit. Like it actually kind of feels closer to like the Euros or something, where you've got these players that are all on different teams kind of coming together, and then there's just Team Poland because.
Why wouldn't you send the whole of
Why
Nile
would you?
Javelins?
Why would you?
It should be easy competition for them, which is upsetting because I like when there's a bit more fight for it. But I don't think there's any teams that will hold a candle to just the full force of Navi Javelins playing as their roster as they have all season. Team Denmark's an interesting one for reasons that I think we'll get onto later in the podcast as well. But a lot of the should I say
Yeah.
ex-Astralis women's? I think Astralis women still exist.
They do.
But they kicked
majority of the
3/5
roster.
of the roster, yeah. But they've got Ramson as well, who's playing on Nip Impact. Kit Kat. You got Kit Kat on Team Denmark and you got Kitty Cat on Team Belgium, If the two of those teams ever played.
It works out.
It does a bit, yeah.
Yeah, and actually I think with the results as they are, France, Spain, Sweden, and Poland have already booked their spot into.
Yeah, that's upper bracket semis, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was if you make upper bracket semis, you're fine because it's top 6, right?
Yeah.
It's top 6 to make it through.
I think so.
No, I'm just looking at the thing here.
It is top 6, yeah.
Yeah. So with those 4, they can't go any lower than the quarterfinals, which would mean there would be 2 teams in the upper bracket final and 4 teams or bracket quarterfinals, which makes 6. So
yeah,
they have successfully qualified, which is nice.
It is certainly an interesting one as well. And it's nice they're getting the Euros done out of the way because, of course, we've got 4 other regions to come with that haven't started yet. I don't think.
None of them have really done anything.
I'm excited to see because there's some snazzy rosters in some of the others as well. But
just want to point something
what about
out.
your
Actually,
predictions?
I just want to point something out. Team Spain is all made up of Team Yumi. So that's another one that's a full national team. And shout out Heidi, the Shimmer stand-in for Valencia. She's head of that team.
True.
So Yumi and Navi are the 2 full teams from a region. And that looks to be across the whole board here. Maybe Team Belarus is one of those, but like I don't know. I don't know enough of that Eastern European area for teams just because it's like it's like a black hole. Like once you really start to look into it, you see like thousands of players that like at one point or another played with each other, and it just kind of like circles, and you eventually like lose your consciousness because of how
The
many
South
combinations.
American region is an absolute menace for that. It's
Yeah,
everybody's played on all of the big teams, and it's quite nice to see because there's a lot of chemistry, there's a lot of storylines, but it's starting to be the same in Europe a little bit.
for
But yeah, what are
sure.
your predictions for that? Because I've said Team Poland as like a hard win in it, in my opinion. Like if I was to which you shouldn't do, if I was to gamble on this and bet, I
Yeah,
would put my money
you're
on Team
gambling.
Poland.
I think, um, I think France versus Poland is going to be a really good upper bracket final. I think
Yeah,
we maybe see them as well in the grand final. I think that's potential
I
for them
think
to
so
do that.
too.
My more, I guess, more pressing thing for me is of the 8 teams remaining: Serbia, Norway, Portugal, Slovakia, Romania, Turkey, Czechia, and Denmark. Excuse me, which ones are going to make it through? Because only 2 of those 8 teams make it now. Um,
So I'm thinking
yeah.
Denmark.
Okay.
Um, just because whilst we've said that there were some issues and Australia's women's didn't particularly get the results they wanted to, and it is three. The core of them are the Australia's female team. Um, I think they're still looking good compared to who their opponents are. So I think surely has to be Denmark. And then for the other one, I actually don't know. It could go any number. Team Romania potentially could have a good showing.
It is worth
I'm not really
mentioning, by
sure.
the way. Sorry, it is worth mentioning that Team Denmark did come third in their group. Just trying to
True.
quickly check and see who they lost to. That's
They were in
actually
Group C, weren't they?
yeah. So they lost to Sweden. They beat Norway.
So yeah,
Got all that's on this
they
page.
got absolutely they absolutely demolished Croatia. And they got beaten by Portugal.
Yeah.
Not massively, it was 13-8. Could be worse, could be better. They 13 owed Hungary. Um, whether I don't know whether that was like
I
a forfeit win or if they
who
actually did
knows?
just 13-0. 13-7 against Norway, and then they lost against Sweden. So very mixed bag results. But again, the teams that they lost to are teams that are, I guess, kind of understandable, other than maybe the losing to Portugal. That's the only one that I look at and go, oh, that's quite interesting. But
I could
again, Portugal
see.
D7, Ida, Zana,
I
that's
could.
a pretty
Yeah.
star-studded
It
roster.
is a good roster. I could. I could see Czechia taking them actually in a 2-1.
Ooh,
I could see that.
potentially.
Um. So
They've
my two teams.
permit a W player on as well, don't
Yeah,
they?
they have Permita. They have oh, she just signed to a squad as well. Eyes, not Eyes. Elite Clan. Miley's
Ooh,
just signed to Elite Clan
yes.
because she was on Team Violet. So that's coming up as well. More news on that in a second.
More news on that
Um,
later. Yeah,
yeah. So I could see Czechia going qualifying. I could also see. I could see Portugal qualifying. I think
potentially.
of
Yeah.
the ones left. Like Norway has a chance as well. Norway's. I mean, the majority guild at one point were Norwegian. I want to say. I know like I want to say it was Kiki and Minnie were on that X Guild squad at one point. I know Pollux is still there.
Pollux has been playing quite well
Yeah,
actually.
so
So
I could see.
it's yeah.
I would say I would say Norway and Czechia for me, just based on where they are on the brackets. Portugal is a good shout though
Ooh.
as well.
Whilst we're here as well, upcoming matches for that continue in, as of time of recording, 16 hours. So I'm assuming we'll be. I don't know how quick your turnaround is on these podcasts, but either as this goes out or maybe slightly before, after you can watch the VODs. But there's gonna be loads of matches tomorrow as well.
Yeah,
So
matches will
there's
have
gonna be
the
games to
first
come.
matches will probably been done because this is gonna come out in approximately 19 hours from now. Approximately.
So, 90, approximately 19 hours. If you get out in 19 hours, you have 3 minutes for people to go and check out the France versus Yumi game. Say France versus Yumi, which is France versus Spain.
Anyway, excuse
That'd
me.
be exciting.
That'd
Evening
be good.
entertainment.
Yes, very much so. That's
Have it
good
up
to
on
know.
one monitor whilst you continue watching this on the.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is all the IESF stuff for now, because North America is coming up at the end of the month, and I don't know what's happening with the Asia one. I don't know when that's happening, but
Not a clue, and unfortunately, the Liquipedia page doesn't exist
Yeah,
to tell us
they
either.
don't know yet either.
And I have all of the IESF stuff muted on Twitter right now. I couldn't handle it. Couldn't hack
Yeah.
it, Parks. So unfortunately I am woefully ignorant on that one.
Yep.
Um I will do my research before the next podcast.
Nice. I like that. I like getting research done previous to stuff. Speaking of research, how about instead of research, we get roster news?
Ooh, and roster news we have plenty of, do we not, Parks? So shall
I
we start over in South America?
Yes, I'm very happy I've managed to make it ordered because sometimes Benny wouldn't do that. Benny would just post them and he'd leave them, and so you go EU France or EU South America, North
EU
America,
and it
and he just
and it's like,
across the
can we
stream's like,
keep on one
yeah,
continent for
can we
like
please like
continent for a
stick in
second?
one spot for a little bit? No, honestly, lead the way. We like you said, we started in South America.
Yeah, so the two big teams, well, two of the biggest teams in South America have made some roster changes to little to no surprise for most of us. Furia have actually had a little bit of a switcheroony, and it is, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Is it Lulitens?
Lulitens, yes.
Lulitens has come aboard as well, which I think is super exciting. I've heard a little bit of whispers on the wind. She seems like a lot of fun as well, so I can't wait to see like all of the content and stuff that's going to come out with that as well. And then MIBR as well have they've taken Furzy off the roster and added Gabby. That's a sick change. I think that's going to be really good for them.
Yeah, and just talking a little bit on Lulitens, I believe she had some time on MIBR. She played, I believe, for
She
Team
did.
Argentina in last year's IESF World Cup as well, and they of course came second behind what was it? It was Team Holland, wasn't it? No, they were orange. Oh, that's gonna bug me.
I can't remember.
That's gonna bug me. They wore orange.
Do a
They
quick
were like
Google.
celebrated. So Lulitens is a very good player, and I'm very excited for that. I'm gonna
Mm.
steadily 220.
But yeah, MIBR and making roster changes happens all the time. Um, Sad to see Furzy go, but I have absolutely no doubt that she'll find another home soon. Um,
Team Netherlands. That's who it was. I knew the orange meant something.
yeah, yeah, she's free agent now, and she's down to play any role, which I think helps her chances of finding somewhere quickly a lot. And of course, with open qualifiers coming up soon as well, might just be able to find a team, whether it's an established team or not. I think we'll see her continue to compete.
Yeah, that's one of the good things about South American Impact, at least, is generally the top four teams are pretty set in terms of who's on there, but you always get a lot of surprising players kind of coming up from underneath and playing in those like W7, Parabellum, or one of those. I'm trying to remember the other squads that kind of they stick around
Yeah,
towards the bottom. Divina, those teams that don't really exist outside of Impact at all, but while they are there and they have that small bit of support, they always do they always do a really interesting job of like showing off new talents and kind of letting people kind of come through. So be interesting to see. Furzy will definitely land on her feet as well. Like there's just plenty of teams outside of Impact as well, right? Like we had, of course,
yeah.
we have Liga Feminina. The first edition's coming in. That meant that there was many teams that played. So I think it was up to 10 plus 12, 22 teams I want to say that were in. I might be wrong with that actually. It might have been 19 or 18 teams. I could I looked at it, I counted, and I went, okay, that's good enough for me. Hold
Yeah,
on.
fair. I trust you more than I trust myself. I can only
18.
count to four,
18.
so
18. There you go. 18.
I can't count past four. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I don't know what comes after that. God knows. Um, I trust you a lot more than I trust myself on that one.
Okay.
Um, sorry, as you were.
No, 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 no. That's honestly that's all the information we've got so far from South America. Um, yeah, that's all the information I got so far.
All I can say
All I
is
can
brace
say.
yourselves, pun intended, for EU, because holy moly, there's been a lot of roster
There
changes.
has been a lot of movement. Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
We've kept they've kept us busy. That is for sure. Okay, first coming
I
in.
went away on holiday and I kept getting messages like I was sat on a sun lounger in Morocco, 42 degrees
Oh
Celsius heat,
God, here we go.
cocktail in one hand, cocktail in the other hand, cocktail on the table next to me. I was triple parked, living the life, right? And like every like hour, I get a message from Parks, be like, "Oh my god, I can't keep doing this. What is this
You need
roster
to mute me on Twitter.
pandemonium?"
You need to mute me on Twitter because this is I told you from the very beginning, right at the beginning. I'm gonna send you information because that's where
It's
I park
fine.
it. I park my information in the DMs of Affinity and Benekage so I can go back and look and go, hey, I remember this, and I could leave it as a note to myself.
Parks keeps sending me this stuff, and then my response is always, "Oh, for God's sake, I can't keep doing this. I can't get." And it's my response is always, they'll send
Ooh,
me something, and
interesting.
I'll disagree with something, and I'll be like, "Oh my God, this is ass." Um, and like my
It's so
responses are
funny.
awful. Like
I really want to just like you send something back or you'll send something back like a message, and I really just don't even want to respond because like it's not even like the fact that what's in the message. It's literally that you sent a message. It's like no, I'm using you as an archive. You're not getting
Oh,
talk. We're not
what
having a
you do is
conversation here.
send me the things on send me Twitter,
Yeah,
and then I'll respond to them on Discord
Discord. Yeah,
and be
that's how
like,
we'll run it.
I can't believe they've done this." But should we get started with
Yes,
EU
we should
with the
definitely.
two clans? We have Elite Clan and Eyes Clan, EYS Clan. I'm not sure whether we're pronouncing it
I'm
Eyes
gonna
or
say Ice
EYS.
Clan. I'm gonna say
I
Ice
think
Clan.
it's Eyes.
I don't mind.
It's if I had a nickel for every time an org with clan in their name signed a female roster this month, I would have two nickels. Now that's not a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. But
Banger.
shall we start with Elite Clan then? Because we talked a little bit about the players that are now competing under Elite Clan last time, and they were playing under there was Violet,
Team
wasn't it?
Violet.
Team
So
Violet.
officially they're Elite Clan Violet because of course the women's
Hmm.
squad they have their own naming that comes through that. So that's Jody, who is of course UKCS best,
Woo!
Silja,
Up the
Emma,
UKCS.
Pimples, and Piku. So I mean they've done rather well for themselves in Cash Cups. They've shown
Hmm.
some good results. So it's worth it's worth an org kind of giving them a look. And of course Jody coming in on this as well is a big thing because you're getting more. I believe Elite Clan is an English squad. I could be like an English org. I could be wrong. They might be Swedish.
I
Or
don't
Finnish maybe because the majority of the
I
squad is
don't
Finnish.
think they're English because I kick around a lot of the UK scene stuff, and Elite Clan isn't a name that's come up
Dennis
very
Wallenberg.
often. Um,
Wallenberg. Does that sounds Finnish? Smile. I have no
I
idea.
don't think they're English. I don't think they're you. I might be stood corrected on that, but I keep a finger on
Stockholm.
the pulse of a lot
Swedish.
of the
They are
Swedish.
Swedish.
Yeah.
There we go.
I was going to say it was a really quick turnaround for Team Violet from announcing that they were competing together to getting signed, which is it's really good to see them getting picked up. I know there's a lot of teams like, whoa, but we've been looking for an org for ages that are a bit like, zoom, like
Yeah.
speed ran finding an org. But it's really nice to see them having that support as well. As I've said so many times, the more orgs we can get in the space and the scene, the better.
Sure. All right. The good news keeps on rolling with that then.
It does.
Because am I? Eyes Clan, so this one is spelled CLAN, have picked up their
Mm.
own squad, and initially it had a UK player on it. It does not anymore. So they picked up
Mm-hmm.
Alerska, Bianca, Pegolina, Valkyrie, and Massa IDK. I don't know how to
Masai?
Masai. I don't know IDK. Uh,
Maybe it's Massa because if you look at their username, it's Massa and then what I think is their surname.
yeah, I could see that.
Um,
Um,
yeah, that was quite interesting because that announcement came out on the 24th of June, and
yes,
then on the 11th of July, they were like, "Well, we've got a new player.
we've made a roster change.
We've made a roster change." And I don't even know if they'd competed in anything in that period of time,
Probably
or
not.
maybe I don't know what really went on behind the scenes. I haven't had a chance to look or speak. Grimmy Ranar will inevitably come out with an interview with Valkyrie, given that it's UKCS and it's women's scene as well. So
Yeah,
I'm waiting for that one
it's
to
an
find out with the team.
it's an interesting kind of just. Hey, we have a team. Hey, we
We
got
got
rid
a
of this
different
player.
team.
Hey, we got a different player. Oh, there's a different player. Got a different player.
So I'll be curious to see. Maybe it was just a mutual thing. Maybe it was didn't bond with the team. Um,
Yeah,
of
and
course
I
you.
mean,
Yeah.
at this level, and at where CS is, like where women's CS is right now, I don't think it makes sense to, as an org, build a team. I think where it's at right now is you need to find a core 5 that have been together for at least a little bit and pick them up because they have some kind of thing. Because it's great to pick up 5 players that in one point or another may have played with each other, or like a few have played with each other, and you're kind of just adding more pieces. But making an early change like this immediately under whatever context happened, like whatever happened between Valkyrie and the Orc, because it is worth noting that Valkyrie's Twitter went offline, because in the initial announcement to
it was tagged,
it was tagged, and they had the other players tagged right above and below hers, and now it's gone. So
yeah.
It's
in a baffling turn of events, JKS newly signed to Ice Clan. I'm waiting for it. No. But you're right on that one. I think it's a little bit weird. Maybe it just needed a break from. You see it quite often actually, as people just go, "Screw it, I'm going off Twitter. I'm leaving esports behind for a bit." Maybe it was just about that, but I'm sure we'll find out eventually. Maybe it's one of those mysteries.
Yeah, everything will come up eventually, and even if it's not a public thing, somebody will say something. Somebody.
Yeah,
that's
somebody
always how it works. Yeah.
Smooyer will be the Rat King and we'll leak it.
Yeah. UK's finest, right?
He's definitely from the UK.
He doesn't
UK's
watch.
Finest.
You can say what you want.
But I know people that might
watch.
UK's finest is either Adam JC, or we have this one guy called Eden who's just, I don't know, he's just a meme.
There you go.
He's tall and he's funny on Twitter.
That's what.
And
that's
he's single, ladies.
Tall and funny on Twitter. What else could you ask?
And single. It's the whole package. I'm telling you.
Yes,
so
because you want to go for the tall.
It's definitely not UK's finest.
You want to go for the tall, funny guy on Twitter who's married, like.
I am none of those things.
Yes, I know.
I am short, unfunny. I'm not single, but I'm not married.
Amazing.
Happily in a committed relationship to my bottle of vodka.
Damn.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
But now moving on that note, I think that's the perfect segue.
Yeah, let's talk about more vodka.
To the news about Astralis. Because that was quite a shock to this. Actually, I say it was a shock to the system. I think it was interesting that they had such a drastic change because Astralis, if you haven't seen already, benched Anya, Aurora, and Josephine. So they benched the majority of the roster.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see what happens next. They didn't get the results that were wanted of them.
Yeah.
I don't think they had, I'll say they had quite a poor showing, ESL Impact Season 5. And I mean, we've had some iconic moments with them. We could reminisce about some of the iconic moments with Astralis female. We've talked about, when they did that massive post about the female agents and stuff. That was spearheaded by most of these ladies.
Yeah.
So they will be missed from Astralis. Hopefully they don't stray too far from the women's scene because Josephine, I've had the pleasure of speaking to a couple of times, is absolutely lovely. And I don't think the roster worked together, but I think there were moments of individual brilliance I'd like to see continue on, of course. What are you? What are your thoughts on all of this one?
I thought the idea with Astralis picking up this team was they were going to develop young players, and I think them not doing that is kind of interesting. Like, they just kind of, it didn't work out, but we're not going to really develop them. They're gone. We're just start over.
Yeah.
3 more players. Because now you're going to come into next season of Impact or whatever, of ESCA, whatever you're doing with what was left of Astralis FE, you're coming into this now with a new 5, and the majority of which has been switched up. So hopefully you find a stronger core that kind of comes in on its own, or you could just be making it worse. You could be making the problem worse by making such a big change all at once, right?
It's because it's a complete fundamental reset. You've lost the majority of your team.
Yes.
That means when you bring new people on, when you have a new player that comes on or you have roster changes, they have to learn and they have to be caught up on your map pool, your strats, how they want you to play, right? When you bring on a whole new team, it feels like a fundamental reset. Is that they're going to redo the groundworks and work back up because it's much more difficult to teach your old strats to a brand new team than it is to just go, right, let's make something new and hope it works this time.
100%. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what comes through from that. We'll keep an eye on them with great interest, of course, as always. So
we will.
Always watching. And then I believe the final piece of EU news for now,
Yep.
at least, is FICE. FICE Angels. P-H-Y-S-E. FICE. I like that name.
Yes.
They have gone in and picked up a very, very mixed team of Ivona, Maxine, that's Hazek, and Aya, and Cass. So it looks to be a relatively young squad, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There'll be again a team to watch, kind of with great interest. Of just like that's a young squad that's going to be
Twitter.
yeah. It's a young squad that has a lot of space to grow, and it's not a huge org, and it's not anything kind of like what Astralis was. So they might actually have.
Bless you.
Excuse me. They might have they're gonna have the space to grow, and I don't think. I think with every team, the goal is to make ESL Impact and play from there, but it's not necessarily.
Goal is to win ESL Impact, bro.
Well,
you're thinking too small fry.
Yeah, I'm not let her cook.
No, I'm with you.
I'm not let her
you,
cook. Okay. No, the inside job. It was an inside job.
Continue, please.
I think the goal is to qualify for ESL Impact for all these squads, but I don't think it's the be-all, end-all for them. I think it's a lot of also growing as a team, showing results in other tournaments that are now starting to pop up in EU that you can potentially qualify for or be invited to, and showcase yourself there. And also, just generally kind of build a following for yourself that then goes with the org, and then that gives them a reason to keep you around. That's always kind of how orgs work, is you want to make them money at the same time you make money. So, Yeah.
Now, that's EU. That's a wrap on that one. Put a little bow on it. Slide it along because we've got one more region to talk about. And that is none other than North America. Now, a region that I have fallen in love with. I think it might be Stockholm Syndrome, but we'll find out.
That's wild. Right. That is
NACS
wild.
might be dead for the men's scene, but for the women's scene, there's fire stuff going on. Cooking is happening. So starting off with Team USA.
Yeah.
Now, Parks. There's a little bit of a debacle about this, isn't there? Because Dust2 put out their article, and tweets went out, but not all is as it seems.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So Dust2 put out an article, and I am gonna say I am never gonna be a fan of how Team USA does their stuff, because nobody knows what they're doing ever at all. Like I even talked to the Shimmer players about this, and like they don't know what's going on half the time with Team USA. What are the ones that are gonna be playing?
With all due respect and all the love in my heart, is that exclusive to what's going on with Team USA, or just?
That's it's exclusive to Team USA. Shimmer, they TSM have a bit more of a handle than they did before when I was kind of around with the team, talking to them.
Rest in peace.
Fine. No. So Team USA put out a video. It's like an hour-long video of all the teams, all the players that were going to IESF representing Team USA, and all they could say in the women's section was, "Hey, we're looking at the top teams, such as," and then they proceeded to name the 5 top teams.
They're like, "We're sending women."
We're
and
sending
everyone's
women.
Like, "Which women?" And they're like, "We're sending women."
Yes.
And I'm like, "Yes, we got that part. Which women?" And they're like, "Women."
Yes. They said, "We're sending women," and
I sure hope so for the women's
Who
tournament.
knows? Like, it's basically kind of.
This is when JKS rocks up, and JKS is just Team USA. That's it. Team USA is
what
JKS.
is it with you and JKS today? It didn't even start.
It's all of the memes. It's all of the memes, like that. Wait, JKS is. You not seen those?
No.
Oh,
I stayed away from Twitter after a few days ago. So,
why
sitting...
Parks? What happened a few days ago that's kept you away from Twitter?
Nothing.
Is it the Euros football? Because like I kind of get you with that one.
It was Team Canada losing, but we're not going to talk about that.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Team USA, as of the Dust2 article, reportedly consists of Empathy, Mads, Olya, and Artstar. I know for a fact that Lin Ya, she will be playing the qualifier. She will not be joining them in Rydia. So That's the 5 that are playing the online portion. The interesting thing with how IESF does their qualifiers is as long as you have the roster set before you go, you have to use that same roster during the section that you're playing, but after that you can make roster changes. So for example, Team Canada has a 7-player roster, right? Not all 7 are going to be going to Rydia. So a few that are either unavailable or that are, it doesn't necessarily work for the timetable, they won't be going. But for somebody like, let's say, Goose Breeder, who is on both, she'll probably play in both, and then depending if she qualifies for ESL Impact Finals in Stockholm, she'd go basically from Rydia to Stockholm, which is something I'm trying to figure out how to do myself right now, and I'm praying I can make it work, because that would be an insane 2 weeks off of vacation.
I'm hoping to be at Stockholm.
I am as
this
well.
This is you brace for impact, people. Come gather
Yeah.
around. This is the inner work is. The likelihood is, of course, there's not been anything come through just yet. The likelihood is I'll be casting for ESL Impact Season 6 with ESL, hopefully.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be a little bit sad if I don't get to do studios this time, because this will be my 3rd season, and I thought I was really close to it last season.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this will be the season that they let me. If not, you better believe I'm gonna be there cheering them on in person. Don't you worry. I will be there no matter what. In what capacity, I don't know. But that's a little bit of brace for impact vulnerability from me.
Yeah.
Is that I will be. I think I'll be a little bit upset with
You'll be in
myself
Stockholm no matter what.
yeah, I'll be in Stockholm one way or another. Whether the UK government knows about that is another matter. For legal reasons, they will know. But yeah, that's a little bit of because that's what Brace for Impact is for. It's you getting to see the inner chaos of Parks and I's minds. And I'll level with you. I will be a little bit sad if I don't get to.
We're currently looking. The group of us that went to Valencia last year are currently looking at a boat hotel in Stockholm right now.
A boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you know what? Screw it. I don't even want to get me on that boat hotel. Get me on that boat hotel.
Yeah. That's the leak, is we're looking at.
I'm so happy I don't have to travel 11 hours on a plane this time. I'll level with you, Parks. I'm quite happy this one's across, not across the pond, but across the puddle.
Yeah. You could swim there.
Yeah.
You should swim there. Go for it.
You know what? Maybe I will, Parks. That'll cut down on the costs a little bit. I could swim there. And if I swim there, I can swim straight and just board the boat hotel straight away.
There you go. Easy enough. We'll pick you up on the way.
I don't know how I'm going to get my luggage across safely, but
it just floats behind you. The currents will take it, right? That's how it works.
Oh yeah, something like that, probably. I don't know how science works, though.
Science doesn't matter. Who cares?
Science doesn't matter. What's real is the ESL.
Yeah. Okay.
Where were we? Team USA.
Last few cities. So yeah, Team USA currently sits. I already said who they sit at. We have to wait and see what they come through on the qualifier. The qualifier is at the end of this month. I can reveal that much. I can't reveal too much more. I can say as well they've split North America. They split North America and South America, and there's 1 spot for South America, and there are 2 spots for North America. It's kind of funny, but I'm not going to say anything more than that because I might get in trouble otherwise.
You hear that? Twitter cancel him. He said that South America's a bad region.
Oh, I did not say that.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That is what he said, word for word. You heard it here
first. If I had
first.
an actual
cancel
editor,
him on Twitter. Hashtag ParksCast. I hate South America. Get him out of esports.
Okay. If I had an actual editor,
he's going to Riyadh as well. He's going to Riyadh as well. You can put that in the tweet as well.
If we had an actual editor for these and they actually wanted to make shorts, this episode would just be. How many? The dozens. They just make 47 shorts of just us talking. Okay. Final 2 pieces of news that kind of come through in North America. First one is Lotus. We had long been kind of keeping an eye on them. Of course, this is the ex-Limitless Angels squad, ex-Tsunami Sirens. They've gone through a bunch of changes. They are now Lotus once again. And that is, of course, Accessor, Fox, Mira, Selly, and Aaron, who are there. Chance joins as coach, and the general manager, as always, is Ink. So, not too much has changed with that squad. Mira and Fox, of course, leading the charge there. I've noticed Selly's been doing really well as well, which is cool to see. So you've got the 3 big names there, and then you've got Aaron and Accessor kind of taking over the back reins there. I worry about Aaron because she's been around this team a while, but she's always seemed to kind of want to do not playing side. But we'll see, I guess, because they had other players on the squad, and it always seemed like Aaron was kind of just there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that might be as well like a roster restriction thing. Like they need to keep her to keep the spot because they need to have a certain amount of players. I don't know if it's 2 players or 3 players to keep a spot, or they might have to qualify again. They should be able to qualify regardless, but like it's one of those things of having to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's that piece of news. And then the last and biggest
No,
piece.
don't make me talk about it. Oh.
You think it hurts you? Like, again, this is my family. So Abby has been removed from TSM. She at the a few weeks ago was told, yeah, we're unfortunately moving in a different direction. So she is out, and the new player is in. So a contract was already signed and everything. There just isn't an official announcement. I know who it is. You'll know who it is pretty quickly as well if you watch literally any of their games coming up. Like they've got a game tomorrow, I think. So yeah, it sucks. It is sad that it didn't work out, especially for as long tenured as she was. I mean, like when we were in Dallas, that was one of the things. Talking to her, talking to kind of her group of people, her gaggle, as I like to say. It was just like she was so happy that after as long as it had taken her to get, you know, when she first formed Shimmer with empathy, that it got to where it was. Like they got to where they were finally. It took such a long time for them, and it's unfortunate where the role clashes went and where the performance went. And just developmentally, she wasn't there yet for what they needed. And that's one of the things that comes with NA only having one spot is you can't sit on that anymore. We had 2, right? You had 2 for so long that it doesn't matter if you couldn't beat FlyQuest Red. As long as you were second best, it didn't matter.
It was good enough, yeah.
It's changed now that FlyQuest, it's one team. And it's either, as it looks right now, based on previous seasons, it is either FlyQuest or it is TSM Shimmer. And it's been close occasionally between Shimmer and FlyQuest, but the tilt has always leaned towards FlyQuest. So you have to get better as Shimmer fast to get everything through.
Yeah.
So it sucks. I'm sad. But the majority succeeding
when you've
over
got to try
one.
separate your head and your... It's because I've spent time chatting to Abby in person stuff, and she's absolutely wonderful and lovely. And I think that she'll find another team within NA. But as you said, with only one spot, you know, it feels really awful to say, but mediocrity can't exist anymore. If you want to go further, if you want to be FlyQuest, you have to make the difficult decisions. And maybe with who they bring on, I'm not sure who it is yet. Hopefully that will be that little tiny bit of extra firepower. Because as you said, the gap was getting closer and closer, but it wasn't closing at a fast enough pace. Which, you know, maybe if Abby had stayed on the roster, if you'd given it more time, if we'd still had 3 seasons to work with, maybe it would have worked out. But as you said, it needs to be quick. You need to see results quickly now because, you know, ESL Impact's only, 2 months away now? You can't be, you know, you can't be having anyone that you've got even slight doubts about. You've got to be like, right, this is
the set player.
one person
And
that you
I
need
can
to
I
beat,
can
and that's
verify
FlyQuest.
I can verify that it is an experienced player they brought in.
Yeah.
It's not an import or anything. It is somebody who's NA. So they've got experience around. They've got experience, a little bit of experience playing with the team, which is nice. So I'll leave that as is. It's not going to be too hard to guess. I mean, by the time this episode comes out, like later in that day, they'll already have a match up on, because they play in Maine, right? Which actually, in fact, that is, because that's the last piece of news, that leads me into the final piece of the podcast. It's always my favorite, is what are you watching? Affinity, what are you gonna watch now that
So I'm not going to be watching ESEA this year. I'm probably going to be casting a lot of ESEA. But what am I watching? So I started something with my partner today called Delicious in Dungeon.
oh,
And it's just this anime about this like party of people that are trying to like complete this dungeon thing that gets but it's all about cooking, and that like all the monsters they kill, they just like cook up. It's like a cooking anime but set in like
I thought it would
medieval
be like
dungeony D&D
I
vibes.
thought it would be like you have to cook something to open the next gate, and like
No, no, they just go through, they kill the stuff that's in the dungeon, and they're like, well, how can we best cook this? Well, what if we sauteed it? Like, I don't know. So I'm watching that, and then other than that, I don't really know. Is there anything good on these days? Like, like doom scrolling YouTube documentaries and stuff, I guess. Like,
There's, you know what? There's a lot of really good documentaries out there if you really want to look into them. If you haven't, if you want to sit down and waste seven and a half, I say waste. It's like it's a magical 7.5 hours. You can watch some
okay.
Dorktown on Secret
Ooh,
Base.
you've reminded me. My partner and I are doing a swap of movie marathons.
Okay.
And so it all started with, so my partner, I love his parents and stuff. So we sat
Yeah.
around at the dinner table with his parents, and I brought up, I was like, so Ben and I were having this conversation. That's my partner. Ben and I were having this conversation. Like, what three most influential movies were like key to your childhood? We're gonna make each other watch them, and we ended up just coming to the conclusion that I would do a Lord of the Rings marathon with him if he did a High School Musical marathon with me. So
That
we're setting that up.
that is
So
wild. That's a
I
good
have to
one.
put up with 12 hours of Lord of the Rings. Not my sort of thing, but my partner loves it and I
Really?
love him. And it's not really I have really bad ADHD. I can't fucking sit still through 12 hours of
The
film.
good news
If he puts
is
on the extended edition and director's cut, I'm walking out.
the good
But
news
like, so I
is
did
like they
that.
have a few switches. Like they go between different characters, so they're not always in one scene. It's not like a single
No, I
cut.
know.
Like,
No, I know. But like sitting down for 12 hours straight, do it. I can't fathom it. So I've agreed for him. We'll do
so
all
how
of
did you
Lord of the
how did you do
Rings.
High School Musical then?
High School Musical's only 3 movies. That's like 7 hours max.
Yeah,
The High School Musical movies are short.
yeah, but
Um,
there's a lot in there.
the High School Musical movies are masterpieces. I was like, we were toying with a couple of things. So originally, I was going to make him watch very like influential movies, and it was going
Yeah.
to be like High School Musical, Divergent, and then the Veggie
Ugh.
Tales Easter Carol.
Ooh,
Um,
Divergent.
don't question the third one.
Ugh.
Oh,
The
don't
books, the
don't be
books,
fucking shitting on
the
Divergent.
books
No,
were
shut,
great.
no, taking my
The
headset off. I'm
movies,
taking my headset off.
I'm
I'm
glad.
not gonna hear the sound. I'm not gonna hear
I'm
the sound. I'm not gonna hear it. No, no.
Divergent as the movie set was bad.
That movie and the books especially, because I had to read the book
I
before I
love
was
the
allowed to watch
books.
the
No, don't
movies.
get me wrong. I love
Um,
the books. I could not stand the movies. It was one of those that like they did not
sorry.
port them well.
I hear you complaining about the casting of Tobias Eaton, and I can hear no the casting of that alone made the movies for me.
Okay.
Um, but no, I'm with you. Don't worry. But yeah, so I'm watching all of the High School Musical movies maybe in the next fortnight. I'm not sure when we're doing it. Um, I've also got LAN this weekend, so I'm gonna be inevitably watching people play lots of CS and Valorant and more CS. I can't escape. What about you then? What about you? On a hopefully
I'm
less somber note of High School Musical and
yeah. I
CS.
mean, my friends and I were still gaming. We're still playing.
Still gaming?
We played 7 Days to Die yesterday, and we might continue that
Okay.
on. It's on a dedicated server, which is like the one problem because it means like we have to kind of keep the same amount of people around to like make it worthwhile. And everybody's gonna get busy, of course, because everything's starting up again. The CS season is back.
Yeah.
LCA is hitting the ground running. We got up. I like as we're sitting here, I'm like getting messages about like teams wanting packages and stuff and all this, and it's like it's great. It's just I wish it wasn't the day of the first day of casting. It's like, guys, come on, we messaged you earlier. Anyways, that's my like ownership ramble of hey, people want to give me their money to get their games casted. But
You hear that? Parks Cast hates people that message LCA.
you're damn right I do. Every single one
He
of you.
hates when he has business.
I hate you guys. Yeah, you destroy my day. I have to message you during my
Ooh.
work hours.
Whilst we're
Get
on the
upset.
topic of LCA, though,
Yeah. Hey, there's a store.
that's
There's
what
a
I was waiting for.
store. That's right. There's a store. We've finally put out a store, and I honestly I'm very excited. It's one of those things that we've wanted to do for like since I became ownership last September. It was one of the first things that we looked at. We kind of had to shelve that because of the financial constraints that we were under. In terms of how much it would have costed to front the money for that kind of, we were going to go with like a drop system, and it just didn't work out for that plan didn't work out for us because we were kind of worried. So we switched over to a different service. We're going with Exclaim, who, by all accounts, when I was looking around, are the best vendors in terms of jerseys and stuff. And in actual fact, the Shimmer jerseys are from Exclaim. And the greatest news of all is if you missed out on the Shimmer public drop that we
Yeah,
did.
so if you missed out on the last chance to get the Shimmer jerseys and to get the Shimmer jerseys 2 because you're an idiot, last chance to get the Shimmer jerseys 3 has just dropped.
And it's not a lot. Yeah, it's the last chance. And honestly, I don't see it going anywhere. The jerseys are going to sit there until either I get told to take them down by one of the players, and they have a good argument for it, or they rebrand to something else and I have to make them a new jersey. So we'll see. I've had, you know what, I will say I've had a few teams as well. Like, I've a few of the organizations, they know they get a 5% off code if they're with us for a package. I'm gonna message the ones that just joined us as well for that. But some of them messaged me and were like, how do I get an LCA jersey now? Like, how do I get my jersey in the LCA store to get that purchase? I'm going like, oh god, here we go again. Everybody wants a jersey. So no, it's cool.
TSM, not TSM, sorry, Shimmer, not TSM, Shimmer
Yeah.
needs to sign me as a streamer. I won't say what content I'll be streaming. It's just gonna be a hot tub. I'm not even gonna be in the hot tub. It's not right. No, Parks. Hot tub stream, but there's nobody in the hot tub. It's just a hot tub.
It's just a Shimmer jersey in the hot tub.
It's just floating on top of the surface.
Yeah.
I have actually. That's a side note. This is a shameless self plug.
Yeah.
I haven't set it up yet. But I'm thinking that I might buy, because I'm in my uni flat alone for the summer holidays for like the next 3 months. I'm gonna buy a Roomba and just put a webcam on top of the Roomba and just set it free into my flat, and then just live stream 24/7 from it. So, if I do that, keep an eye on my Twitter, because
put a Shimmer jersey down. Cam. Put a Shimmer jerseys on the walls.
I'll put a Shimmer logo on top
of
it.
No, you can't do it on top of it because the camera won't see. But you got to ring all your walls with just Shimmer jerseys that you can buy from the LCA Broadcasting.
I paint the Roomba to look like the Shimmer.
Yeah, that could work.
And
too.
then I just have a Shimmer slime walking around. Boom, easy.
Amazing.
Self plug over. But that's been us. That's been us this week. I don't think there's much.
There's nothing more. No, we need to get out of here. I've got a cast in a few hours. I also have to do all the editing for this.
I've got a pack for LAN.
Yeah, we got
another shameless self plug. I'll be on Epic main channel, stupid shit all weekend.
Will you be dressed in the Shimmer jersey?
But not. No. Well, yeah, because it's got LCA on it, so I can't advertise another.
Oh, that's right.
I can't advertise a different company.
What if you just put tape over it?
I could, but
put black tape over it and put black tape on the back, and then you're set.
I could. Maybe I'll consider.
That's what B4 did.
But like, hear me out. If you want to watch me in an escape room, or if you want to see me doing really stupid shit like hook a duck and drinking enough slushies that the sugar will kill me, I'm gonna be on Epic Land all weekend. It'll be good weekend entertainment. It's super light, super chill. Got a good team of hosts on there. That's me with shameless self plugs. You got to stop me before I do any more, because
we are getting out of here.
LinkedIn.
This is
I'll plug my LinkedIn if you want.
LinkedIn. No, we're gonna stop you before you get that far. Thank you everybody so much for watching. We'll be back in a week time this time around, just because of how the week's set out. I always want it every 2 weeks, so we're gonna do it on the next one. It's fine. Just don't get sick at Epic Land, because if you are, I'm doing it solo next time.
Sorry.
You will not escape from this. We'll see y'all next week then. That has been us. Do take care, and we'll see you. Bye for now.